The topic for today is to announce and essentially launch the joint venture partnership between Shark Indicators and iCinDER. And the reason we're putting this on is because a lot of traders, especially in the network of BloodHound and the Shark Indicators user base, we cover a lot of advanced topics. A lot of traders in here are building strategies and systems and trading methodologies. And we warmly welcome companies and people such as iCinDER and Raul to be able to come into our partnership family, because what we've been able to do is we've been able to take advanced concepts and advanced indicators and make them very simple using the BloodHound templates and the BloodHound interface. And for those of you that are looking to use high-level tools that are coded and indicators that are specifically designed for specific trading strategies and setups, we're going to be actually showing you how to be able to use them with BloodHound. In fact, iCinDER and Raul, he's going to be walking you through all of his indicators and his setups to actually show you exactly how you guys can be using them for your trading, how you can enhance your strategies or your systems that you're currently building, and so forth. So without further ado, today's webinar we're going to be discussing on how to be able to create strategies using specific indicators and being able to provide you with the training for these strategies and indicators with both the iCinDER suite and the BloodHound software. Okay, so today's topics of discussion, we will be looking at trade setups using specific indicators and the different templates, because since they will be used for strategy creation and trading methodologies once you guys take advantage of using them. So we do need to cover a quick disclosure. There is risk involved with trading, ladies and gentlemen, and I think it's important for us to embrace that risk and understand it and accept it so that we can all face the markets with full responsibility. So if you could please take advantage and look at this disclaimer before we get started, it'd be much appreciated. So for today's webinar agenda, we've got four main topics we're going to be covering. And the first one, actually, Raul is going to be coming in and discussing these, but he's going to be breaking down his V2 cycle methodology. And if I can just start by saying this, I've been a trader for a better part of 6.5 years, and I recently got turned on to the iCinDER cycle indicators. And I actually started using one of his indicators in my own trading strategy and methodology, and I've drastically seen an improvement in trade accuracy for timing using these. So I'm really looking forward for him being able to present these to you guys, because I truly think you guys are going to see an advantage in building your systems with the tools that he's going to be showing you. He's then going to be breaking down the velocity bands, the ranger, and the trend guide indicator. Once he's finished with that, he's going to go into an actual demo where he shows you his indicator suite, the different indicators that he's created and he's coded and built, and combine them with BloodHound. He's going to show you the BloodHound templates and how he's worked with our product specialist, Zach, and the other guys in the Shark Indicators team to be able to make these advanced indicators very easy to see, easy to read, and usable towards building systems and trading with this stuff inside BloodHound. Once he finishes the demo, I'm actually going to take the presentation back over and discuss with you the actual bundle promotion that we've put on for you guys today, including those of you that already own BloodHound and those of you that actually don't own BloodHound but want to take advantage of some package deals that we put together. So without further ado, I'm actually going to switch this presentation over to Raul, and he's going to actually take it away where he breaks down the V2 cycle methodology.
Thank you, Sean. Today we're going to be covering the iCinDER V2 indicators, and probably one of the key questions that you would probably ask is, well, what type of indicators in this? And I'd like to mention they are called V2 specifically because they measure velocity or momentum, and that's one of the key things that we attempted to do when we created the indicators. So they can help you to provide a measure of a cycle trend, the decline, the rise, movement, and it does it over 3 specific cycles: a minor, intermediate, and major cycle. So the basics of this thing is to extract the dynamics of price through our algorithms and to provide you with information that can be used in your trading. Now, one of the things that you find is there are different methodologies, and we have all trying to determine when is price going down, when is the trend starting, when is the trend moving. And so those things become really important to us. But there are different ways of finding that out. There are ways that you can find them which are static, adaptive, or what I call dimensional slicing, which is the methodology that I use to create the iCinDER indicators. And they look about 18 dimensions, and out of that they extract what actually could be classified as a fractal movement. So let's go and look at what is available today for us as a trader. So we have one of the things is moving averages, and we tend, we set up moving averages, and we can do, EMA, simple moving averages. We use the MACD, we use all those, but one of the things is that they're static. They're measured at a specific cycle width, in this case being 20. Finding divergence becomes a lot harder to do that when you try to force a specific cycle into market movement. So we throw that away. We don't really want to do that. So we look at another methodology, and the other methodology would be to have an adaptive moving average. An adaptive moving average is what they try to do is to stay as close to price as they can. But you look here in this location, you find out the price came close to the red line. In other words, to a point where you say, okay, there's weakness and maybe there's an exit. But then as it moves up again, there's more space between them. So divergence, again, is a little bit hard to assess. So we try a different method. And that's the method that we use with iCinDER. These are the velocity bands, and they are an extraction of the V2 indicator, which is the as I mentioned, 3 pieces: the histogram, a minor indicator, the teal, an intermediate indicator, and the goldenrod, a major indicator. When those are placed over a 20-period moving average, or anywhere from 17 to 21, and pivoted on the price pane, you find the green line, which closely follows price. Now the divergence happens at a point where the red line and the green line touch. So what you will look is this amplitude, and the amplitude between the red and the green line help us to assess where they would be having. An example would be over here, about 1219, where there was actually a little bit of a short squeeze. So we're looking at velocity, but putting it on the price pane or momentum. So that's the third way of looking at things. So let's go through each of the indicators. The first one is the minor indicator. We call it the V2S. I placed all 3 indicators here so you could actually have, the S, the intermediate at the top, and in the middle, the major. What you notice is that actually there's a crossover over the 0 line. And the crossovers over the 0 line validate either a bullish bias from point 1 to point 2 or a bearish bias from point 2 to the bottom over here to point 3. Now that was a bigger move with a larger pullback. The other thing that you will find is that when you have all 3, the fastest one is of course the minor. The next is the intermediate, and the major is the slowest of all. So by looking at them, you can actually see where the movement is taking place as. The momentum or the velocity is happening at a minor cycle, which could be weak but still have movement, at an intermediate or a major cycle. Now there are points where you actually find all cycles, all 3 of them, move in tandem. The only way that can happen is if the major cycle has such amplitude and force. In other words, the velocity is so high at the major cycle that it actually is able to also move the minor, the intermediate. Those are major points where you actually end up having a turning point in the market. Now we look at the eye. The eye is here at the top, and again, it kind of matches at point 1 and point 2, but it still lags. If you see the crossover over the 0 line lags anywhere from 2 to 5 bars. The same can happen also on the major, which can lag anywhere from 5 to 10 bars. When you actually have a crossover, such as here 0.3 over 0, what's happened is the minor has moved across 0, showing strength. However, the major and the intermediate remain below 0, showing you that, yes, while there is a movement to the top side and there's a little bit of strength, there's not enough strength at the intermediate and major cycles to actually have a true reversal or a turning point in the market. You do have that later, here at 0.4, where they all turn in tandem. Then also, a little bit later, you actually find the other two crossing over, and you have this major move on the triple top. On this next slide, we actually have the major cycle indicator. And the key things to take away from this one will be this. Point 1, of course, the movements and the lag. But here at the blue arrow, you actually have a peak. At the major cycle measure of momentum or velocity, you have a peak. However, that peak is never repeated at 0.5 or 0.6. This implies that at those points, the major cycle is actually weakening. So the move, even though there's enough force to move the market in upward mode, there is not enough force to break previous highs. So the trend remains in the range with a possible move to the downside. So let's look now, putting it all together. Even though I took all three cycles and showed them in different panes, the actual indicator has all three of the measures, in other words, the minor, the intermediate, and the major, on the same pane, on the same indicator. The histogram represents the minor, the teal represents the intermediate, and the golden rod represents the major cycle. So you still have the same pieces that we covered before. At the A, the crossovers, which are very important. Now you will notice also that the velocity bands sitting on the top, they also cross 0 at the same point, or usually within 1 bar, where you actually have a crossover over the V2. So you have velocity or momentum moving up and down with strength or with weakness. Momentum can move down in great strength over here to point C, and then move up in great strength. Sometimes you have momentum, and here's, if we look at the area here on E, momentum went up, price continued to go up, but momentum basically moved down and then sideways. What you actually have here, in essence, is there's actually enough momentum to move price, but not to move price in a magnitude of move, in an impulsive move. So we look at item D, peaks. The V2 is high at resistance, and these are the Ranger bands, Ranger band, resistance 1, resistance 2, and resistance 3. I'll explain more on those in a few minutes here. The indicators moved up. The only one that's the strongest is the V2 minor. The other two are actually weak. They barely crossed over. And then you notice that price moves down, as do the indicators. Why? Well, because there was actually not enough momentum, there was not enough velocity to cross over and to continue that move up. It failed, and then it tried again, it went back down, but this time the major cycle was the strongest of all, and it actually moved the intermediate and the minor cycle in tandem into an upward mode. Now, the Ranger bands, you have resistance 1, resistance 2, and resistance 3. Support 1 in gray, support 2, and support 3. They do have numeric values, 398, 265, and 132. This is actually an algorithm that measures true range and extracts a value. So if you were trading, you would say, okay, a possible target would be the movement of range to a top side, what is considered the most likely movement of range. 2 is a little bit more extreme, and 3 is, let's say, an extreme fast move. Now, how you would use this is you can look at the values here, and you can say, okay, they can be targets to the top side as you move from E. Let's say you were able to pick this turning point right here. Where would your stop loss be? Well, your stop loss be, it's going to be close to that E at this point because you don't know whether you'll be going up or down. Secondly, you establish targets possibly at those levels. And as you're moving to those levels, you would move your stop loss up accordingly. If we put it all together and we take a, let's say, a sample price pane or a chart in which we would trade, we will have a number of things. We would have the price pane with the Ranger bands, which are giving us a true range type of measurement across the 20-period moving average. So we can see price in relationship to true range values through that algorithm. We can also see velocity bands. The velocity bands are giving us volatility by measuring the amplitude, and also price following the green line and reversals. So if you see there in this area right here, you see price actually crossed through zero and now it's above the green line. It's a bullish bias. That was actually a turning point. That turning point can also be assessed or determined by looking at the stochastic. This is stochastic. It's not a stochastic where the input is price. It is a stochastic where the input is actually the V2S, or the minor cycle of the V2, the histogram values. So it tells you whether the histogram values are actually about to move up. And it helps you, again, to pick a turning point. Same thing over here where they start to break down, another turning point. So all the tools actually work in tandem to help you make an assessment of market movement and the strength of the movement. The middle pane, of course, has the V2 cycles, as I mentioned before, and the Ranger bands. The stochastic filter, as I mentioned, can also, even though it is used for V2S, you can put V2I or V2M or any other type of input. It is just a filter. The trend guide RT we'll cover on the next slide. And the trend guide RT, in essence, is an analysis tool. And what we did is we took the logic, and in essence, there's a rule set for trading the V2s, so for trading iCinDER. One of them is the assessment of the V2. Where is it going? Is it bullish or is it bearish? Is it above zero, green? Is it below zero? And that's the velocities. Where's it going? Do we have velocity for movement to be taking place? The other thing is we have this filter, which is called the iCinDER trend guide value. The trend guide value looks at the last 4 bars of movement of the V2. And it basically asks this question, the 5th bar ago compared to the 4th bar, is it going up or down? Well, yes, okay, that's a 1. The 4th compared to the 3, yes, up or down. And so it creates a value system, and then it says, okay, it goes from 0 to 5. Anything above 3 will be considered bullish, as you can see on the slide here. The middle value, 3, would be neutral, and anything below that would be bearish. So how would you use it? Well, if you're in a long trend, you would want to see bullish bias, and then you would want to see 4s and 5s. If you see a 3, you would probably tighten your stop loss, which is, okay, it's a 3, that's a possibility. Where's it going to go next? It could go to a 4, but it could go to a 2. In which case, it would imply that now it's moving. There's a turning point that took place, and it's moving now in the bearish bias. Now, all this, basically, what we're doing is we're using our eyesight to look at all this information. And we're making assessments, and we're evaluating, and we're determining whether to go long or go short. So once we integrate that with BloodHound, we end up with a much, much better tool. Now, the trend guide value uses those rule sets, and it also has an algorithm that calculates targets. And the targets are based also on a true range value algorithm. So it gives you a T1, gray, a light blue, which is a T2, and a T3, which is goldenrod. This specific movement over here basically was showing, like a short. But why wouldn't you take that as a short? Well, the V2 S minor is pointing upward. The V2I is also slope up. The V2M slope up. Over here you have a 3. That's neutral, and it was coming from a low value to a high value. So that invalidates this numbers right here. So it's okay, I will not take that. It's just a possible target that may come into play in the future. What ended up happening is this here on the left in the inset in yellow, where the targets actually went back to 2 and they went to 16.315 was the targets that were established after the move took place a little bit further up. The current move is actually right here. What you're seeing on the screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars later, it actually was showing a bullish bias. And of course the V2 trend guide value was up, and so were the cycle indicators. So that's an applied rule set. And applied rule sets, again, what we're doing is we're looking at information. We're making an evaluation visually. And sometimes you can have a chart and you can have so many objects in it that it makes it hard to actually come to a conclusion. I mean, where are we? Are we supposed to be trading long? Am I supposed to be trading short? So when you actually take BloodHound, and that's an example of what you actually have here, and this is on the S&P 500 dailies bars, and there's a component there, a BloodHound template, which is called pivotier. At this point, I don't have any logic here, which is basically toggling some of the V2 values and the V2 rule sets. And this is what it said. So you actually have a turning point that took place right up here, bearish bias, turning point that takes place over here, bullish bias. Over here on the side, well, there's actually a little bit of sideways movement. The V2 had actually dropped below 0, corrected pattern. Now, the V2, green velocity band, red and green, never touched, never went to 0. So you did have perhaps a possibility of further movement up. Eventually it does cross over 0, and we have a corrected pattern here. Short is tight, and then the breakout, and then sideways movement. Notice here in this area around the 14th of December, how the green line and the red line are tight, close to each other, really close to each other. Velocity is low, and you end up having a tight pattern there, and then eventually you do have a little bit of a breakout. The market actually broke down after that. So what we're going to do now, let's go and have a demo. That's what we've all been waiting for, right? So let's look at specific things. Let's go ahead and put pivotier over here. And we can actually take this thing, this is demo 2. Delete that. You have information. I have a BloodHound pivotier. There's no logic selected at this point. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to toggle through some of the items here. First, let's say we want to know, let me close this up a little bit. We have a value called trend guide. Trend guide is actually shown over here, green or red. What if trend guide is going up and gives me a value greater than 3? Is it going to help me assess or evaluate a bullish bias? So I toggle that on, and then it says, this is trend guide. Now I could do this visually, but what if I add that and then I say, okay, I'm going to add the slope of the V2S? What if I'm going to add is the V2S across, over 0, greater than 0, or less than 0? So as I add rules to this, it helps me to make an assessment, and then I know is a bullish bias or is there a bearish bias. Same thing if I say, okay, I don't want to trade in the zone between the 2 gray areas. I'm actually going to go ahead and untoggle all the other ones that I had, and I'm going to toggle that which I call the phantom zone. When it breaks out of the phantom zone, you basically have a small breakout or a breakout to that. When you are in what is called the phantom zone, there can be a lot of sideways movement, as you can actually see. You want to break out. You're either going to break out from a turning point from the downside to the phantom zone and then maybe upward, or you may go to that phantom zone and then break down and fall. So what if we want to know whether all 3 or the V2s are in the bullish bias. So we go here, greater than 0, all three of them. And now we know bearish or bullish. And we can also say, okay, well, I want to look at the V2S. I want it to be greater than 0. I want to make sure that there's a direction change. And I also want to see the inflection. And now I see the inflection, the points where it's actually moving either up or down, bullish or bearish. And I could add trend guide to that too. And then those are the points where you actually have a trend guide value change. That's neat and that's interesting. However, really what you want to do is you want to look at the logics, right? So there are a number of logic templates that I created. And this actually, you can see there's I believe about 12 or so. The one that I put on is a turning point all cycles. And the turning point all cycles, let's look at that. Is taking the slope, a time dimension, so I know that I trade when I want to trade in the market. And then it's feeding that through, and then it's telling me, okay, the indicator slope is either up or down. And what I do by doing that, I'm actually trying to look for a turning point. The same thing as all the other ones. Do I want to see all the cycles? The V2S cycle only slope. So what is really happening? Well, what's really happening is that BloodHound is facilitating the analysis of the information that's provided by the V2. Is the V2 valuable by itself? Yes, but the real value is in using BloodHound to help you make the decision. So that's all I wanted to show here. But there's one more thing. Let's say that we wanted to create a strategy. And we want to plop a strategy in there. And I already have one. And what I'm going to do is just turn it on. This is simple. I just basically put some information. Profit target 21 ticks, stop loss 20. This is not necessarily what we would do, but on the default, I just have to do a default. You could probably put an ATM strategy here. Take 2 in. You know, stop loss 10, 5 out on the first one. The second one, you actually have a stop loss that continues to follow through until actually eventually you're taken out. So let's just look at the simple one. Turn it on, and let's click on OK. And there's all the orders. If you noticed, there's a little short, got taken out, short, long, short, and it looks really neat. So that's all for this one. Let's actually disable this, and let's look at another one, because there are actually 4 major components of templates for you to be able to build your own. This other one is called the modeling tutorial, and this tutorial again has a good number of items on trend guide, indicator slopes, inflection points, phantom zone, extreme zone. Extreme zone is when you actually exceed the 2-level price, goes above the resistance 2 level of the Ranger bands. On the logic side, you actually have builders. Here we go. And there's a regular logic builder and an OR logic builder. And out of that, we created a logic builder with the OR and trend guide value and extreme zones, which is this one here. And one of the things that I did is I did, somewhat square rooted hedged. It gave me a little bit of a neater signal. So let's go ahead and look at that one. And let's take demo 1. Take this off here. And so you can actually see the bearish bias there. Entry probably here at 1298. Let's say if you stay through until you get taken out, there was another counter signal. The counter signal didn't happen until here. So 1296. Now, what we would do, again, is create a strategy, right? And so the strategy, again, is simple. 12 ticks, profit target, 12 ticks stop loss, one single contract. We'll turn it on. And this is just to be able to show how to integrate BloodHound with iCinDER. So again, the value to me is to have a product that helps me to bridge together both iCinDER with a product that helps me to evaluate quickly any type of symbol in the market. With that, I think I will. I'm going to turn it back to Sean.
Okay, thanks, Raul. One of the things that we always like to discuss, in the back end within the BloodHound family and the Shark Indicators teams, and we work with a lot of educational partners. We work with a lot of development partners that build custom indicators and stuff like that. And so one of the reasons why BloodHound has become such a very popular product is because it really gives you guys, the traders, the power to be able to harness your ideas, right? I mean, essentially, the tools as traders, like, I mean, if we think about what trading is, we have these building blocks, right? Like whenever you go to build a house, you have a toolbox. You want to build the walls or build the roof or anything like that. And essentially, when we have BloodHound, it allows us the ability to build strategies, right? So what the iCinDER model is to be able to provide you with advanced indicators. And this is really powerful because when you can take tools that allow you to be able to measure momentum, turning points, inflection, all the different types of aspects that are important for system builders or for traders looking to build enhanced strategies. We need to look at the different components to be able to piece together strategies, right? Whether you're a trend trader, whether you're a momentum trader or a breakout trader or a reversal trader, each of these strategies have their place. And I think it's very important, especially when we're building multiple different systems, that if we're going to be using BloodHound, that we can use tools to our advantage that can give us a better read of the market dynamics, the dimension, as well as the inflection points, reversals, and that sort of thing, right? And for those of you that have been building strategies or using BloodHound for a little bit, I mean, we all know that the creation phase is the fun part of being able to build systems, right? To be able to figure out what works. And then we go into the testing phase where we can actually look at validating our strategy, right? And that's where we use indicators to be able to piece together different components of building strategies, and then we need to prove it, right? And I mean, Raul went into showing, the performance of, just having a couple of different logic templates applied there. What we're trying to explain is that it's our job as traders to take tools, indicators, and different components that gives us the ability to read the market and figure out whether or not what we're using is going to actually build together to become a profitable system. Okay, and that's really the whole point of using BloodHound, is to take all these building blocks and piece them together. Now Raul, as a programmer, he's built these advanced cycle and analytics and these tools to be able to provide serious tools for traders to get a better read on the market. And in fact, I didn't even know, the tools that he had built were able to perform the analysis that he allows us to read. And I actually ended up taking the V2 cycle indicator. Not all of them, but I actually used the V2 cycle indicator for immediate momentum shifts. I actually apply it to one of my systems, and I've been able to gauge much more accurate turning points in trend direction, because momentum will shift before a trend will ever take place, because a trend needs to form based on price patterns, where immediate momentum can get you into a move much sooner. And being able to take these indicators, I was actually able to enhance my own strategies and my own trading to get more effective accuracy in market timing, also in trade entry. And this is the message that we're trying to express with the traders that are in this webinar today. It's we can take different components of these indicators and enhance our systems with a much better accuracy rate. And really, as traders, this is what we want to do, is because we want to be able to time the market, we want to be able to fine-tune our entry and exit points, our trend logic dynamics, the bias, the directional movement that we want to take with our strategies, and build upon them, right? So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight as to how I use the V2 cycles. And for any of you guys that are actually wanting to see something like that, we could actually put you in touch with myself and Raul to be able to show you how we've incorporated using some of his tools into my trading, just to kind of give you some insight as to how you can actually use these indicators towards your advantage, right? And for those of you that have big systems or built numerous strategies, it'll be really interesting to see how you guys can actually improve the accuracy for directional bias, trade momentum filtering, and reversal inflection points and stuff like that. That I actually think the iCinDER tools will actually enhance your strategies. Okay, what I'm going to do is we've got a couple of questions, and I'm sure there's a few questions that you guys have with regards to the indicators and how you guys can use them for your strategies. But before we do this, I'd like to basically break down the different packages that we've actually put together for the iCinDER indicator suites, as well as the bundle that we're going to present to you with BloodHound. And then what we'll do is we'll dedicate the remainder of the webinar to be able to answer those questions and maybe go into some more examples and be able to look at some charts, because we want this to be a real interactive and dynamic presentation so that we can help you guys use advanced tools to building better systems. Okay, so the bundle packages that we have, there's really three options for you guys to choose from to get your hands on some of these tools. The basic analysis pack is just that. It's a basic pack with the 6 standard indicators, the V2 basic cycle analysis tools, and you will get the iCinDER support and training from Raul and his team, and that's priced at $395 for the basic model. Now, the V2 Advanced Cycle Analysis Pack is everything that you've seen today in the different slides and the different charts, and it includes the basic analysis pack, which comes with the 6 indicators, but you'll also get the trend guide and the advanced cycle analysis tools, and there's actually a combination of 3 different indicators that you'll be able to use in building different types of strategies. Now, you'll also receive the iCinDER support and training from that as well, and that's actually priced at $495, and if you're a BloodHound owner, you'll actually receive 20% off of the Advanced Cycle Analysis Pack. Okay? Now, for those of you that are not BloodHound owners and you're looking at taking advantage of both, our software from a system development standpoint and being able to use some of the iCinDER tools to be able to create profitable trading strategies for yourself to deploy, then what we've done is we've actually agreed to work with iCinDER in putting together a bundle for you guys where it includes all the indicators that's been mentioned, the entire iCinDER bundle and indicator packs, the BloodHound Ultimate version. In order to run the templates with the iCinDER tools, you will need an Ultimate version. We've agreed to throw in free Pro Renko bars for those of you that purchase the actual bundle, and you will actually receive training from both the iCinDER team as well as the Shark Indicators team in helping you be able to create different strategies using the actual indicators and BloodHound software. Now, if we were to put a value on this entire package for the bundle, if we were to add up all the indicators, the value of BloodHound, the value of the bars, and all that, you're looking at about $1,185. Okay. Now, obviously, we're not going to ever charge full price. So what we can do is we've actually made arrangements to give you guys 33% off of the entire bundle, and that's for those of you that actually don't own BloodHound. And the truth is, if you guys have already got your hands on BloodHound, we know there's a lot of you in here that already own the BloodHound software, and you guys could take advantage of actually just getting the advanced analysis packs to be able to build all these different types of strategies and systems. Then you could take advantage of option number 2, and we'll be able to give you a 20% off for that pricing package as well. Now, this is a special promotion because it's only available till tonight at midnight. And the Renko bars are only free for those of you that are actually purchasing the bundle to try and throw in some extra additional products for you guys to want to get your hands on all that tools. So there's the iCinDER Trader for the actual bundle package, and I'm actually just going to throw in the discount so that you guys can take advantage of that 20% off for those of you that are BloodHound owners. And we understand that building systems, it takes some time, but that's why we're here, right? That's why the iCinDER team is in place for you guys to be able to learn how to use those indicators at its highest level of accuracy. The BloodHound team puts on the training workshops every week. to be able to help you guys build systems, and we can actually get you guys in touch with Raiola to help you build different systems using the iCinDER indicators towards your strategy development. Okay, now one other thing I wanted to mention is that we spoke with Daniel Rowe. For those of you that are already a BloodHound owner, or for those of you that are new to the Shark Indicators family, Daniel Rowe is one of our system builders that we use to help traders build strategies. He actually works with a lot of our trading room educators, and he also works with a lot of our traders in the back end, as well as Zach White, who's our product specialist. But Daniel Rowe, because he specializes in building strategies for BloodHound users, he's also agreed to offer his services for half price on anybody that purchases a bundle today. So if any of you guys are looking at having your strategies built using the iCinDER indicators, that would like to take advantage of using BloodHound and the cycle analysis packs and enhancing your systems, or coming up with strategies to build your systems using these tools, Daniel will give you 50% off a 2-hour session, so you'll get 2 for the price of 1 if you do take action today to purchase the indicator bundles and the iCinDER tools. So if you guys have questions with regards to the iCinDER trader analysis packs, or if you have questions with regards to BloodHound using iCinDER's tools, that's what we're here for. We've got our guys in place to be able to answer these questions. If you would like us to pull up a chart using some of these tools, we can definitely do that with the little bit of time that we have left to be able to give you guys a better read on some of the information. But we wanted to basically keep this very basic, short, and sweet, because this is more of a way to give you guys tools to build strategies, right? And to give you guys the ability to enhance your systems using better tools for use within BloodHound. So let's just take a quick second here and address some of these questions. So Heinz had actually asked if we could look at different time frames. I believe that was already taken advantage of when he went from the daily charts down to the range charts. Let me just see here if I have another question. George is asking, why don't you use the SI Pro Renko bars? Well, George, to be truly honest, you can. There is no restrictions towards using specific bar types. Indicators will work with all different types of charts. It's just how you choose to build your systems. And if you're using the SI Pro Renko bars, then being able to apply these indicators and being able to apply the analysis tools to enhance your systems or build different strategies, then that's basically your realm of expertise. We will help you understand how to enhance them. That's why our support team is here. That's why Raiola is here. That's why Daniel Rowe is here to help bridge different types of strategies and make them for you if you choose. But there is no restriction. So if you are using Renko charts, then you can still apply the indicators to your charts and to your systems. Okay. George Plattis is also, can you show us profitable strategy using your system and tools? Well, first of all, I can actually answer this. This is not a system. Okay, these are not. This is not a trading strategy. This is not a full-blown automated signal generator. These are tools that are designed and coded as indicators to be able to be used with BloodHound, so that you guys can build systems using different components of the indicator suites. We've got momentum velocity indicators. There's the Ranger bands, which gives you inflection points for reversals and the average true range of extreme movements. You've got the trend guide, which helps gauge directional targets based off average true range and a combination of the different V2 cycle indicators. So there's really an advanced array of tools that can give you a leg up in gauging velocity, momentum, trend bias, and directional trade bias, and so forth. So hopefully you can understand, George, that we're not trying to sell you a full-blown system. We're trying to give you advanced tools to be able to build better systems for yourselves. Okay. Let me see here. Heinz is also asking, I'm a BloodHound owner. Are the iCinDER templates available for me? Yes. The templates that have been built with the iCinDER tools, the templates will come with the package. So all of the templates that you've seen here that were demonstrated with all the different functions, you can actually get your hands on the actual tools, and you can actually get your hands on the different templates so you guys can use all the different types of entry logic and exit logic that's basically been presented. Let me just keep going through the questions here and I'll address them one by one. Hello, I see you do a free trial for 30 days. Is that correct? Yeah, the special pricing is only available today. However, there is a 30-day trial with the tools and stuff, so you can definitely take advantage of that. But that's essentially also because we also offer a BloodHound trial. So for those of you that are already using BloodHound, that would not apply for you. A question here from Scott is asking me, Sean, how do you use the V2 indicator? Well, that's a very interesting question. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I can actually show you guys. And I'll just go onto my own computer here so you guys can see it. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to actually pull up a workspace of the actual cubes today. And this is, just so you guys know, this is my own stuff. This is a bunch of different trading stuff. But for those of you that are interested in how I use the V2, I'll explain what I've done to be able to enhance my own trading using his indicators and for my own strategies. Okay. So as you can see here, down here, I'm just going to remove this. You can see it. This is actually the V2 histogram. Okay, and I'm going to actually go in here and show you. This is the iCinDER V2 cycles. Okay, I use this on both my trading time frames and my higher time frame directional charts because I use multiple time frames for my own trading. Okay, and excuse me. And so what I like to do is I like to use the iCinDER cycle analysis tool to gauge immediate momentum shifts in direction because I always like to trade with the higher time frame charts. And this is just my own analysis, so for those of you that are wondering how I trade, this is not a topic of teaching what I do from a trading strategy standpoint. This is simply just to here give you some insight as to how I use the iCinDER tools. Okay, I actually use the histogram because it is the minor cycle of momentum. And as a day trader on the higher time frame, I'm not really looking for the major cycles on the higher time frame. I'm looking for the minor cycles because the minor cycles will shift price direction and momentum from a velocity standpoint on the smaller time frame a lot quicker. Okay, and if we take a look here, I'm just going to show you here at 11:15 this morning. I'm just going to show you how I use this today using the V2 cycle indicator. At this point in time, okay, I'm going to apply this to all charts so you can see this. The momentum shifted from being positive to negative on this higher time frame chart on the right hand side. Can you guys all see that? I just want to make sure you guys can see that I'm using the right chart first to be able to see this histogram breaking below the 0 line. Okay. Now what this does is tells me this is an immediate shift in velocity and momentum on the higher time frame. So what I do is I use that as a directional bias tool for me to start looking for shorts on a trading time frame that is a smaller time frame. Okay, that's how I use this tool. How you use this tool will be ultimately up to you on how you build your own systems. How you use this tool will ultimately be whether you bridge it with other tools or other different types of strategies that you create. But this is just to kind of give you some insight onto how I trade with it because I actually use the iCinDER tools in my trading every day. And the reason I've done this is to help me gauge better accuracy with immediate directional shifts in momentum. Okay? From a day trading standpoint, I believe that to be very valuable because a lot of times we can still be in an uptrend, which you can see we've been in an uptrend, but we get an immediate shift in momentum to the downside. Doesn't mean we can't take shorts on a smaller time frame, right? It doesn't mean we can't take advantage of that. And that's the whole part of building strategies and systems, right? That's the whole part of being able to use advanced tools to enhance your decision making, okay? So I just wanted to kind of show you that. I don't think, I actually don't use any of the other tools for my trading, but that's the power of using the indicators, right? We get to pick and choose which ones are going to work well with how we trade with them, and that's the power of you being able to use them towards how you trade, okay? Let's just go back in here and answer some more of these questions, okay? So it says, yeah, using the V2 indicator slope in BloodHound, are the turning points at the 0 line or when the slope of the V2 histogram changes? Also, are the templates included? I have already purchased the SI Pro Renko bars and am ready to purchase BloodHound, what package would work best? Okay, so Roland James, great question. Maybe what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask Raul to answer the beginning portion of that question. Raul, if you can hear me, I'd like maybe to step in and you can answer that with regards to the slope and the turning points.
There are two ways. Originally, when I came up with the V2, I wanted validation that there was actually a move taking place. So I would trade at the crossovers, and that's how I originally started trading. However, there are customers who have a higher risk or tolerance. So in other words, they're willing to take a stab at a turn. So a turning point generally will happen when the V2 shifts. However, you don't want the V2 minor just to shift. You would like to see an intermediate or a major one change too. So what you can do with BloodHound is say, okay, I want the slope of the V2S, the V2I, and the V2M to change. And then you give it a little bit of lag, and that's actually in the template that I put there. Because one of the things that happens is the V2S shifts quickest because it's the small time frame, right? Then the intermediate will shift. Well, there's a lag, so you actually have to tell it that don't just look at the current bar, look at 3 to 5 bars ago. So I put that for 3. And then I put the major at 5. So within 5 bars, if all those 3 are pointing the same way, I have a turning point validated. So that's how I validate the turning points. Let's see. Okay, good. We're good showing the Renko bars. So that's how I would actually look at, you know, if you're looking for a turning point, you want all 3 of them to turn. And you can see it works with the Renko bars. There's a nice short there. It will pull back up. Now the V2 is below 0. The V2I and the V2M are below 0. You possibly do not want to take that long. You're looking for shorts. Remember that if the V2, as a rule set, put this in your mind, the V2, I, M, and S are below 0, you have a bearish bias. If they're above 0, you have a bullish bias. Does that sound good? Okay. If we put oil, I'm just going to go ahead and change the symbol to oil. I'll leave the Renko bars. I think we're still 614. I think is the still current front contract. Okay, here we go. Here's oil, and this is 1400. Let's go ahead and go towards the beginning of the market day. Let's go about. Let's start about. No, here we can just start here. About 10 o'clock. Well, actually, here's a nice move on oil, and it picked it up. Well, basically, that's over 950. So you actually end up the market here at 950 with a bullish bias. There's the bullish bias right there on Renko. The V2I, the V2M, all the V2s were above 0. The stochastic was above 0. It had broken through right here. So you actually have a nice bullish bias there. If finally, the first sign that you have that could be weakness would be like right over here. However, remember, velocity continues to move even lower, but price can continue to move up. So your final exit is right actually over here at 953. Wow, that was a very fast move. I have no idea how you could catch something that quick. It's from 950 to 953. Very, very fast move. But you can see there it builds a good model, and actually there's a consolidation area right here. The velocity bands, notice how tight they are. So you have this little wavy pattern, and you're actually stuck in the range. There's the high, and there's the low. If we move forward, let's move forward a little bit. We have another, it breaks out from the high. This is a bullish bias right there, picked up. All the V2s are above 0. When the V2s are, you know, either sometimes some are above 0, some are below 0, you actually generally have a trading range, not necessarily a breakout in any way. And then here's the 1035 or so. There's the highs, there's the low. We broke first to the low side, just a slight move, and then pick straight right up again. And one of the things as to why not taking that short is that you already had the stochastics below 0. Now you're looking for a long, the stochastic breaking above 0. In fact, that would happen if it breaks through the top side. Broke to the top side, nice move right there. So that's what we have there on Renko, and you can see the rest of the model right there. Does that answer your question there? Is that okay? The bottom line is what you want to do is you integrate the way that you trade with BloodHound. You use the tool to gauge momentum or velocity. And therefore, by doing that, you're looking at market movement. The way Sean uses it, Sean is basically going for very quick, short trades. So he uses the minor. The minor is extremely fast. If he was to use the intermediate or the majors, he would probably miss out on some of those moves that he's able to see right now. So thank you. You all have really good questions, and thank you for your time. Sean, I'm back to you there.
Thanks, Raul. And maybe, Raul, if what you can do is you could pull up your website on your screen. I'll just leave it sharing your screen right now so you can that everyone can kind of see where they can take advantage of this sort of stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue with a couple of the questions. And for those of you that are in the audience right now, I kind of want to gauge where everybody's at with regards to their strategy development process. Okay, how many in here are actually enjoy building strategies? How many in here actually enjoy using BloodHound to piece together different types of systems and taking advantage of being able to create all these different types of strategies using the tools that we have provided for our traders? George says he does. Todd says yes. Todd Damon is also enjoying strategy development. And the nice thing is Scott, yes. Yeah. So for those of you that enjoy building strategies and you enjoy piecing together different types of trading systems, then the nice thing about using the iCinDER tools is that you can take bits and pieces of all the different templates. You can take the indicators and mix and match them to match what you're trying to accomplish as a trader in building your systems. For those of you that are looking for a red light, green light strategy, then I would like to just make this very clear. We're not trying to tell you when to buy or when to sell. All we're trying to explain is that these are advanced tools that can become very effective for you. In fact, I've been able to capitalize on extreme accuracy using one of his tools. Even if I use just one of his tools to drastically increase my trading, I think it was a huge trade-off for me. And if you guys can even take advantage of only one of his tools and using all of his stuff, and you find one thing inside of it that's going to improve your system to make you more money, then it's a huge return on your investment, right? So we have a ton of people in here that are already BloodHound owners, okay? So what you guys can do is you guys can actually take advantage of 20% off of everything that he offers, which essentially becomes $395, right? For $395, you can get all of the momentum indicators, the trend indicators, the reversal indicators, his entire cycle suite for very, very low cost of $395. And the reason I say it's a very low cost is because I use only one of his tools. And within the last 2 weeks, I've been able to increase my trade accuracy by about 60 to 70%. And that's just my own metrics of my own strategy. But if I can take something like that and see a return on my investment like that, I hope that you guys would be able to use the similar type of tools to be able to enhance your systems, right? And so I just wanted to kind of point that out there, because if you guys already own BloodHound, then you can take advantage of the pack itself. I guess the next question is, how many people in here don't own BloodHound? You got Steven, Scott, Frank, Gene, Andres. Okay. So let me just point this out to you guys. Okay. BloodHound is by far the most inexpensive tool in the industry for you guys to be able to build trading systems and strategies to deploy them and to validate them. And maybe if I can kind of get a little bit of an engaged audience in here, How many of you guys that own BloodHound are happy with BloodHound so far? I want to know the audience here because we have a lot of BloodHound users. And for those of you guys that don't own BloodHound, I would like you to maybe kind of understand where this is at. I mean, we've got yes, Surja, yes. We've got a bunch of people in here that are very happy with the actual software. Okay. Now the reason I'm asking these questions is because you have the ability to come in and build your strategies, test your strategies, and trade your strategies for very, very low cost, rather than having to hire programmers and rather than having to essentially, hire a team to build everything from code, right? And the nice thing is if you already own BloodHound, then there's a 20% discount for all of the iCinDER bundle. If you don't own BloodHound, for those of you that aren't and you're kind of determining whether or not it's the right thing for you, the BloodHound bundle, okay, essentially will get you everything. You'll get BloodHound, you'll get the iCinDER suite, you'll get free Ranko bars, you'll get training to our weekly workshops for all of the BloodHound users, and you get training for both iCinDER and Shark Indicators in helping you build your strategies. Plus, you also get to take advantage, if you guys would like someone to just build all your systems for you. Daniel Rowe from TradeThePlan.com has graciously said that he would give you half price off a 2-hour strategy session for any of you guys that purchase the bundle, the Ultimate Trader bundle. So if you guys have any other questions, we see here, Scott Hubner, okay, are the backtest Ranko bars included? If you would like the backtest Ranko bars rather than the SI Pro Ranko, okay, we can honor that. We will give you a bar type. So if you want the SI Pro Rankos, we can do that. If you want the SI Backtest Rankos, then we can do that. It's really ultimately your decision, but we will give you a bar type, and that's worth about $200 to purchase. So you can see right there the value is I mean, you're saving another $200 just by purchasing the bundle. Heinz is saying you will order now. Thank you. Absolutely, Heinz. I'm glad you're able to participate. And it says, George, can we incorporate the iCinDER indicators in our custom proprietary indicators? Maybe what I'll do is I will actually let Raul answer that question.
Let's see. Absolutely, yes. And as a matter of fact, remember that what I wrote is not basically it's not the Holy Grail. It's just one of the tools that you can use. There are tools that you probably used in your trading for maybe years, maybe months, and you feel very comfortable with them. So you may use them as a primary tool, like Sean uses, the V2S as a secondary tool. However, it is all a matter of what you like to use. And I'm not saying just use only the V2 iCinDER indicator. Please use other things to validate your strategies, to validate your decision in either trading in the long or short, or basically sitting on your hands and not trading that day. It's really important that you just not use one specific product, that you use different products and incorporate them into a solution for trading. And that's what you want. You want a package as a solution. Otherwise, you just have indicator A, B, and C. Sometimes you trade A, sometimes you trade B, sometimes C. If you put them all together, they'll give you a better solution than each of them individually.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there was a question here with regards to how I use the iCinDER tools. For those of you that are curious on how to use these different types of tools, I'd be more than happy to spend a little bit of time with any one of you guys on showing you how I use the iCinDER indicators. And I'm more than certain that Raul would be more than happy to give a breakdown on how he uses the tools and so forth. I mean, we're here to try and give you guys value in every way possible, and that way you guys can actually get value from these tools. It's not just about selling software. It's really about helping you guys be better traders, right? And that's the whole vision we have with BloodHound and all of our partnerships that we bring into the actual Shark Indicators Network. Our goal is to help you guys become better traders. And if we can offer you tools, if we can offer you solutions that can enhance your decision making, then we've done our job. Yeah, so I think that's it, everyone. I think that if you guys see value in this, take advantage. Once again, the links are in the room. If you guys have purchased, I know there's a few of you guys that did take advantage of purchasing. That's great. For those of you that still have a few questions, by all means, let us know. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you guys had a profitable trading day, and hopefully you guys can take advantage of tomorrow. And yeah, so thanks for attending. If you guys have any other questions, please give us a call. Once again here, I'll share my screen with you guys so you can see the contact information. That way you guys can make sure you can get in touch with us. For those of you that have not signed up for our free algo course, it is on our website. It's absolutely free. You'll definitely want to sign up. For those of you that have questions with regards to how I use the V2 cycle indicators, you can call me directly so I can show you how to use these tools so you can enhance your trading with them. If you would like Daniel Rowe to build your systems using the iCinDER suite, he will give you 50% off. If you would like more information from Raul at iCinDER, trader.com, please get in touch with him. And for all of you guys, hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. All right, thanks everybody, and have yourself a great evening.